Hello everyone, it's Henry here, coming at you with a video about Europe Asunder, the 100 Years Wars Blender files. And this is, as always, off the script. Stuff might go wrong, but let's see how we do. My intention with this video is that someone who's new to me as a creator, doesn't know my work, maybe doesn't even know what Blender is, can watch this, and I will sell to you the if not the necessity, then at least the perks of paying that bit extra to get the Blender files and show you what you can do with them. First of all, let's start off by talking about what Blender is. Blender is a 3D modeling program that you can download for free off the internet because it's it's an open source free program. I was very pleased the other day to see a picture of one of Warlord Games sculptors working, and he was using Blender, and I felt very happy about that because betraying a slight inferiority complex, I suppose. Some creators will say things like ZBrush is what the real sculptors use, but you gotta pay for that. I don't want to pay. Anyway, sorry, I'm here to sell you stuff, not betray my cheapskate tendencies. In front of us, we have a figure with a sword over his shoulder, as I hope you can see. And, well, this, I probably have an STL that looks like this, but if we wanted to tweak them around, these are all the different options we have. So cast your eyes to the right of the screen where my mouse is now, and we have what's called the overview. And I have organized all of these separate 3D objects within this file into little folders for your ease of use. And what these folders do is, if you click these eyeballs next to them, you toggle them on and off. So here we have the default head is just looking straight ahead, but here we have one that's looking 25 degrees to the left. So if I wanted to export, like get really into things, export irregular ranks where people are looking left and right, add a bit of variety, I can use these head options. Now what we see here, I just want to say, this is like my live working file. I have been tweaking with it. Some stuff I've left a bit messy, so in this case I've left all the hats toggled on. But there, we can clean it up. So please bear with me if you see some little quirks. That's because we're working from a live file, and as I said, this is unscripted. So this isn't quite the Blender exporter you'll get with the Kickstarter. This is actually my original file, but it will have what you get will have exactly the same file structure. So it is roughly representative. Right. Sorry, I'm waffling. If you click this arrow on the left here, you can expand a folder to see the subfolders. And the subfolders in this case are all the different helmet types. See? Oh, rounded visorless bassinet. I haven't made that yet, apparently. Okay. And that's the lower coif. That's a cowl. There we go. Still a bit messy here. What you get will be much more polished, I promise you. But those are all the different head options we got. But obviously the head isn't the only thing that you're going to customize on a model. Let's give this guy an English kettle helmet. With the coif on the bottom. Yeah. Let's give this guy that helmet. You want to toggle other parts. So the next thing we have on the list is we've got the legs in various poses. Now, these will be a bit glitchy because, again, I've got everything toggled on. But here we've got like a marching pose. Please ignore the details. We've got several garments clipping through each other there. Standing idle, braced, readied, which is like facing the other way. Stooping, this is for the crossbowman. It's angled because since all these parts have to occupy the same 3D space, doing a character who's bent over requires me just to bend his legs. And mounted legs for going on a horsey. Right. And if we look inside the legs themselves, let's be boring and vanilla and go with a standing pose. You got different things you can toggle around. This guy's wearing a gambeson, but if he was wearing a brigandine, we could give him the lower part of a brigandine. This is for the knights, the lower surcoat. I was going to say surtout, I don't know why. Surcoat. But let's stick with the gambeson. By default, he's got here his flared boots on, over just, cloth leggings. But we could toggle that off, make it armored. So armored legs plus gambeson. Looks like we got a sergeant now, doesn't it? In addition to that, each leg folder has different weapons we can do them with. So there's a little dirk, another dirk, a dagger here, and I think a longsword there. Yeah, longsword and short sword. By default, I've exported the levy troops with short swords and, oh gosh, misclicked there, short swords and dirks like that. Is what I think I've given everyone by default, if I remember right. And beyond there, we have our different foot poses. Now, this is where things maybe get a bit more interesting if you have the Blender files, because so far I've shown you things that, except for the head rotations, are all present in the different STLs. But if you look through here, I've got weapons. Now, by default, the Kickstarter is shipping with 2 weapons for everyone, and that's a longsword and a warhammer. Sorry, those are the default 2-handed weapons. So if I toggle this longsword off, I can put a warhammer there instead. I have tried to design as many of the poses as possible that they're adaptable between different weapon types. So in this case, you know, if he's got a weapon over his shoulder, a warhammer is exactly the same as a longsword. We can toggle this guy now to be, if I toggle off other armor, toggle on plate mail, I can have him in armor down there. Oh, I'm sorry, that's personal messages coming through there. Let's just turn that off. We can have him in full armor. I have to do his left arm as well. His left arm here. Turn off other armor. Turn on plate mail. And that should be his surto. The lower part, we need to get rid of the gambeson. Tunic lower. There we go. Now he's in full armor. Probably with the wrong helmet, to be honest. But you see, everything is modular. You can toggle around. You can have people that are partially armored, fully armored, and change the weapons about. We have stretch goals to add more 2-handed weapons. You might have seen on the overview there, I have a folder for an axe. That's not been put there yet. A bill I do still need to add, actually, because a bill I've already sculpted. So when I release this, there will be a bill in that folder. But let's look at some of the other poses. If I get rid of this, these foot poses folders have all the different troop types. If I get rid of the foot knights and put in the polearms pose, you see he's got a vulge now, if that's how you pronounce that properly. I can replace the vulge with a bill. I can replace the bill with a spear. For a knight, that wouldn't really make sense. Again, we've got stretch goals to add pikes and cut down lances and halberds, so those are all things that could be put there as well. So the point of these Blender files is you're not just messing with the appearance of your models, but you can also add in all sorts of different weapons. I've just noticed a mistake here. I'm very sorry. This upper surcoat should be textured. I will fix that. It should be textured like the lower half. That's the problem with using my prototype file, isn't it? The STLs are textured, so I did get them right. I don't know how I've managed to have an old asset in there that hasn't been properly done. Oh, that's a brigandine. I will make sure that is fixed before the launch. I'm sorry about that. But the STLs are all good. Hopefully you've seen the painted examples. So yeah, I'll wrap up here because I know I'm waffling, and the more I show, the more I show little mistakes I've made, possibly. But the purpose of these files is, in essence, to let you take the basic models that you already received, the STL files, and tweak them to your liking, like different head positions. You can see here I've got a buckler that you could put on their wrists. With the foot knights, you could change the left arm if you wanted, so its arm side by default to a bracing shield. Let's use the rounded one there. So if I were to rotate his head that way, give him different legs. It's the brace legs that look this way, isn't it? Yeah, brace legs. And maybe change the sword pose to that one. There, you got a tweaked miniature there. With the 45-degree head look there. Oh, there you go. He's all mixed and matched up armor-wise. Sorry, he's wearing a brigandine with the legs. But no, he could be a sergeant. Still looks like a convincing figure. But yeah, that is what the Blender files are. They allow you to toggle things on and off at its most basic. If you know a bit more what you're doing, you could, of course, start scaling individual objects within the file. You might think that the figures look a little squat, so you could move the legs down to make him taller, something like that. So if you do have some 3D knowledge, well, you probably don't need to watch this video because you would already know why having the original Blender files for a project can be helpful. But I have designed them for, let's say, the everyman to still, even if you have no 3D experience, just work through simple toggle systems. In addition to the foot poses, we've got mounted poses where you need to change the legs to mounted. So there's a lot to play with, and it's just a small extra amount on top of the normal pledge. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, it was unscripted, and I appreciate that I could have been a bit better with time usage. If any of this interested you, I'd recommend watching my other videos on my YouTube channel because, and that's not me plugging it, it's not something that I profit from or anything like that, it's just because 9 out of 10 times if someone asks me a question about Blender, I've answered it in a YouTube video. So I have videos with different tutorials, showing other Blender files, and even one where I teach how to very simplistically alter a 6mm model to have the proportions of a 15mm model. So if I were to give it all to you in a sentence, I would say the Blender files are the tool which, with a little bit of patience and learning, can teach you to really make these like your miniatures. It's the foundations you need to make the miniatures suitable to your requirements. And in honesty, I think the real reason why I distribute them is because back when I did Napoleonics, someone would say to me, I don't know, like, oh, actually, that French guy should have 8 buttons, not 7. And I would say, here's the Blender file, go do it yourself, please. Ha ha ha. Alright then, hope you enjoyed that, and if you support the Kickstarter, thank you very much. I will talk to you guys another time. Bye-bye.